Who killed Jon Arryn? Well, we might find out because Ned is on the case. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Time to review Season 1, Episode 4 of Game of Thrones. This one was called Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things. Now, we know that Bran is the cripple. We know that Jon Snow is the bastard. I wonder who the Broken Things is.
Could be our video, because this is not getting monetised by a title like that, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure, but it is what it is. Basically, I think the main premise of this episode was Ned looking into the death of Jon Arryn. We also had Jon Snow protecting the new kid, Sam Tarly, on the wall.
Very Sam.
And I mean, that was pretty much it. So again, we'll cover Winterfell first. Basically, Bran wakes up, he's got a heart, he has a nightmare, he wakes up, he thinks he can walk, turns out he can't walk.
What a shit dream that is.
Theon Greyjoy summons Hodor, the castle's dim-witted stable boy, who can only say the word Hodor to help carry Bran down to the Great Hall, where Robb Stark is hosting a meeting with Tyrion Lannister and his new sidekick, I guess, Yoren. And Tyrion Lannister is looking for some hospitality at Winterfell on his way back to King's Landing. And Tyrion graciously gives like plans to build like this like equipment, this like arch style back arch saddle for a horse to help Bran ride. Why is he doing this? I'm assuming he's paying for it too, because it's
a nice gesture, but it makes you feel like he's involved in it.
Yeah, it makes him feel a little bit guilty, but he says that he knows what it feels like to be a cripple, or well, not maybe a cripple. That's basically, he says cripple, bastards, and broken things. Maybe Tyrion feels like all of them, to be honest.
Bran's too.
Yeah, Bran's too. But maybe Tyrion feels like he's all free, because like he said to Jon Snow, all dwarfs are bastards in their father's eyes. So, yeah, we have that, really, and that was pretty much all that happened in Winterfell. We had Tyrion saying to Greyjoy that, you know, basically, you're a bit of a slave here. Your family would be upset to see that you've fallen in with the Starks and that you're basically doing what they tell you to do and all this. So we don't really know the story here, but I'm assuming Theon Greyjoy has been brought in by the Starks and they've treated him well, so therefore he's just another soldier, I guess, at Winterfell.
Yeah, I mean, I think there seems to be a gimmick in this show where you need to be loyal to your bloodline, but I think it's all about who treats you well. Seems like Tyrion's like, here, why are you not backing your bloodline?
Yeah, Tyrion says that your father used to be a great soldier, a great fighter, but you're nothing but a lackey to Winterfell. And then he tosses him a coin and says that he can use this coin with Ross. This is Theon's favourite hooker. That's if Tyrion hasn't already worn her out. So again, another hooer sex thing here.
Theon.
We move to the wall. We get introduced to Samwell, this fat guy. He gets beat up. Jon Snow refuses to beat him up. They're calling him Piggy.
Lady Piggy.
I think Jon Snow feels bad for him, so Jon Snow protects him. 3-on-2, they can't get past Snow, and he ends up stopping Sam from getting beaten up. That night, Sam joins Jon on the wall. He says that he can't really see properly, and Jon Snow's like, if you can't see, you can't fight, you're a coward, what the hell are you doing here? And then Sam basically tells a story about how his dad told him on his 18th birthday that you're not worthy of being the heir to my throne, basically, and says that you have to you have to give up everything that you're entitled to, or else we'll kill you and make it look like an accident.
Brutal things for this guy's dad. But you know, seeing these days, you had to man up, you had to be to task, and this guy's not. I'm sorry. We can feel sorry for him all we want, but this guy gets on like he's Tyrion and Bran combined, but just 400 pounds heavier.
Yeah, then later on at the wall, we have Jon. He orders everyone not to take it easy on Sam, but Rast refuses. I guess he's like kind of part of the group, but he just doesn't want to go easy on Sam. So
slice myself a bit of bacon, governor.
But Jon Snow basically threatens to kill him. Well, they do. They kind of capture him that night and threaten to, if anything happens to Sam, then he's going to get in trouble. So they all basically the next day don't really fight Sam. They yield to Sam after a couple of weak shots for Sam's sword, and then that's it really. The Sir Alistair scolds Jon for his rebellious actions and says, when you're out there beyond the wall, do you want a man by your side or do you want this fucking coward right here? And I mean,
like this promo. Best part of the episode.
I thought this was pretty good because he is kind of right. I mean, this guy might seem like he's being harsh, but he's basically trying to train these guys to survive out there. And at the moment, this Sam guy's just not got what it takes. And I think you're only as strong as your partner. You're only as strong as the man standing beside you. And I mean, who would want to be teamed up with Sam right now? Fucking nobody.
I think the wall's overhyped in that regard. It's like, they're all cunts that go to the wall, but they defend it well. Look at these jobbers.
I don't see Sam defending anything.
It's all good him protecting this Sam kid for getting bullied, essentially, but you're weakening the security of the wall.
Yeah, and then Jon later that night says to Sam that he's not been with anyone either. Sam doesn't really believe him. Jon said he had a chance, and again he brings up the Whoer Ross, but he tells Sam that he didn't want to potentially bring in another bastard to this world because that would be basically sentencing a kid to a shit life like he's got. So, I mean, I think, again, Jon Snow, I admire him.
I see his point here, right? But at the end of the day, could he not right that wrong? Say he did do that. He could just treat his bastard better than what Ned's treated him. Even though by the laws of this society, Ned's kind of forced his hand here by not treating him like one of his own.
I think you make a good point. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a good
Jon
point.
Snow is not forced to treat his son like a cunt. He could treat him as equal. He could learn from his father. I'm not saying Ned treats him horrible. Because I think Ned's one of the few guys that's actually alright to him.
I agree. Alistair Thorne comes back in and he tells Jon that his charity won't help Sam survive it in the winter. He says having to eat horses is one thing when you're out there, but when you have to revert to cannibalism, that's a whole different story. So
tastes good, little piggy.
Yeah. But Alistair says that he wishes Sam was out there when they got caught beyond the walls because they would have got a lot of meals out of him. So again, another wee fat joke in there. In the Dothraki part of the episode again, I mean, not a lot really happens. They arrive at the Dothraki city, but we don't really see anything. I mean, there's nothing here really. Viserys is angry that Drogo is taking his army in the wrong direction. Later, he baths with the woman he paid for, I guess, to teach. I don't know. I don't even know what. He's upset that she has betrayed him. I thought he paid her to teach Daenerys how to make Drogo happy, but apparently that's not the reason he done it. So if that's not the reason, then I have no idea what it is. But he basically, her and him, sit in the bath for like 10 minutes too long, talking about fucking dragons. Just didn't really interest me whatsoever.
This guy just doesn't strike me as like the leader.
A leader. I mean,
this guy couldn't lead a computer lead into the socket. The guy's mince.
Yeah, he tries to attack Daenerys after believing that she is betraying him, but then she strikes back and says that I am the wife of Khal Drogo. I carry Khal's son, and the next time you lay a hand on me, you will lose that hand. And then Daenerys confides in Mormont, and she says that Viserys will never become king of Westeros. He's so weak and that he couldn't command an army even if Drogo gave him one. And Jorah agrees.
I agree. I think everyone should agree with that. The guy's so weak. Bran could do a better job.
Definitely. I mean, in King's Landing then, we get Sansa Stark. She visits the Iron Throne and basically gets told that you and Joffrey are going to have lots of kids. She says, what if I don't have any boys? Then she says, well, everyone's going to hate you, pretty much. And she says the chances of that are pretty slim. So.
Slim to none, right?
We have another small council meeting where Lord Eddard Stark learns the forthcoming tournament. He learns about the rules. He learns about the mayhem this is causing. He says that the place has been overrun. There's riots in the tavern. There's been a fire in the brothel. 3 stabbings and a drunken horse race. He tells Littlefinger that he needs to find more money to strengthen the city guards. Littlefinger doesn't seem too happy about this, but Ned's like, look, you've wasted enough money over the fucking years. I'm sure you can find some more money to help keep King's Landing safe and keep the peace. And he then offers Janos Slynt 20 or 50 of his own men.
20 his own men and 50 city guards. I believe.
So that was that. Then he grills Grandmaster Pycelle about Jon Arryn's last few weeks, and Pycelle says he did everything he could to save Jon Arryn, but his illness was sudden and severe, which again would strike you as like poisoning, because he just don't die quickly for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, poison is quick. You don't get a drawn out poison.
Now, apparently the last words that Jon Arryn kept saying was, "The seed is strong. The seed is strong." What's that all about? We don't know. But Pycelle gives Ned Stark a book, and Ned Stark reads a little bit of the book, and it's basically like a lineage of, I believe, people that have been in the King's Landing or have any sort of like relation.
It's the yellow pages for the King's Landing.
Yeah, basically giving you everyone's like information, details, colour, hair, date of birth, death, all that shit. So Ed's reading all that. He's trying to get familiar, looking for clues, I guess, doing a little bit of investigation into what possibly could have killed Jon Arryn. Littlefinger shows Ned around. He shows him all the spies, all the people that he needs to be careful, people that he can't say things around because they're always watching. He then takes him to visit some guy that, I don't know, makes armour, makes shields.
And he speaks to him, and then there's this other kid in the background, I believe. Who's his name? Eddard?
He meets Master Smith Tobo Matt and his apprentice Gendry, who worked with Jon Arryn apparently. So he kind of wants to know.
This is Lord Stark. He wanted to speak up to him.
Yeah, I guess he's just. I guess Gendry was the last guy that maybe made equipment for Jon Arryn, so that's why Ned Stark tried to visit him. There's a helmet that Ned Stark's interested in, but Gendry says it's not for sale. And Ned says if the time ever comes where he would rather wield a sword rather than make one, then come and speak to me.
He must be one of King Robert's bastard sons. Big Gendry, that's a big reveal.
Yeah, Edward then realises that Gendry is one of King Robert's bastard sons, but can't work out why Jon Arryn would be interested in this. Robert has many bastard children and shows little interest in any of them. On leaving, he tells Mott that if Gendry should become interested in wielding a sword, then yeah, send them to me. So we find out that Rob has got a lot of bastard sons. I wasn't even aware of this, but I guess when you're the king and you're having sex with all these whores and there's like no contraception and all this shit, then you're probably going to have a shitload of sons and daughters running about.
But see, then it's mad how Jon Snow's an evil bastard and there's all these ones running about. No one cares.
Yeah, it is weird.
How many's Robert's got then? Estimation, 10, 20, 50?
Well, I mean, maybe you could argue that Ned tried to take Jon Snow in as a member of his family, whereas with King Robert, he doesn't give a shit about them.
True.
But they're still in King's Landing, so therefore you could argue it's still rubbing it in Cersei's face, so wouldn't she still be relatively annoyed?
It's annoying Jaime as well.
Yeah, Jaime doesn't like it. Jaime's outside,
disrespecting my sister.
King Robert's sleeping with all his whores, and he just doesn't like it. Ned's second in command tries to give him a note to pass to the king, but he says, I don't serve Ned Stark, and they share some battle stories about the time that he got his scar, but I mean, that's pretty much it. And then at the inn in Crossroads,
the ending of the episode.
Yeah, Catelyn and Roderick Castle are in there. They're trying to keep their
low profile.
Tyrion walks in looking for a room for the night. He sees Catelyn, and Catelyn then basically just gives her hand away, and she starts recruiting everyone that's in the inn, saying that you've got ties, you've always been loyal to my family, this and that. And then she asks everyone for their help to obtain Tyrion, and they bring him in to Catelyn's custody, and I guess this is like arresting him for what she believes was the attempted murder of her son Bran. And the episode ends with Tyrion getting about 10 million swords pointed at his throat.
You only need one though for him, really.
Yeah, small one. Needle, I think, would kill Tyrion Lannister.
Needle would, but I think this power play's almost wasted in Tyrion, and it's not to do because I don't think he's going to do it. I think to use this card on him, I think it should be used on. But
I think before we end it, we should probably talk about the big death, the only death of the episode, and it was Ser Hugh, who died at the hand of the Mountain. We got introduced to the Mountain. These two were taking part in the tournament. Duel. And Ser Hugh got they got the big, not a sword, what do you call the javelin kind of...
Spear?
Spear. He got a spear to the throat, and it kind of broke. The spear kind of broke and shattered and splintered into his throat, and it was a pretty gruesome death, to be honest. So
we got a backstory as well of the Hound in the mountain. The mountain burned the Hound's face because he didn't like him.
The Hound was playing with the mountain's toy.
I don't get it though. The Hound looks 10 years older than the mountain.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe First Degree Burns does that to someone.
Littlefinger, I don't know, I just don't really like the guy.
I didn't like him in the game. He's a slippery wee bastard.
Yeah, he's a bit of an arsehole, and
he looks like Benedict Cumberbatch.
It just seems
That's probably why I don't like him.
Yeah, because he's an arsehole too. Anyway, rating time, what you giving it? I'm going to get a 5 out of 10. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, I'll get
probably
a 5.
about the same as again, I thought the stuff on the wall was more interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do.
It's more interesting, but nothing's really happening.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the Winterfell stuff or the Dothraki stuff, but I do kind of like the wall and anything in King's Landing. Because I think in King's Landing, I think you've got interesting characters like Jaime Lannister and Ned Stark.
You've
and
got
the
all
King
the main dogs,
and Cersei. You've got like all the main offenders, so to speak. Whereas on the wall, you don't really have main offenders, but it's still interesting.
It's like ECW.
All the main offenders have left Winterfell.
Aye, Winterfell's done.
And the Dothrakis can't speak English, so I mean, it is what it is.
Horses, they're scared where their horses can't drink.
So yeah, 5 out of 10, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.